Within months, a single independent animation pilot amassed over 300 million views on YouTube, alongside billions of impressions across TikTok. The digital hype quickly bled into the physical world, sparking massive retail expansions with pop-up shops taking over spaces in Tokyo and Osaka, and even securing a serialized manga adaptation. Achieving this caliber of 3D animation traditionally required the backing of the Hollywood machine, massive server farms to render files, hundreds of studio employees, and multi-million-dollar budgets. Yet a small independent team based in Melbourne, Australia, managed to bypass the entire studio system to create a globally viral 3D series. They succeeded by ignoring Hollywood's established rules and deliberately breaking the physical laws of 3D space. Series creator Gooseworx had a very specific aesthetic vision. She wanted to replicate the primitive, slightly unnerving look of early 90s computer graphics and the brightly colored mix-and-match Zolo toys from her childhood. Beneath that bright exterior lies a dark thematic foundation, heavily inspired by Harlan Ellison's classic psychological sci-fi story, I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream. This created a unique technical challenge for the team at Glitch Productions. The animation needed to look intentionally stiff and retro, but the lighting and rendering still had to feel modern and polished enough to hold a massive audience's attention. To solve this, the team developed a rapid pipeline. First, animators build the raw character movements using Autodesk Maya, an industry-standard software suite used for building and moving 3D digital skeletons. Then, they export that animation directly into Unreal Engine. Unreal is a powerful video game engine that allows the team to test complex lighting and shadows in real time, bypassing the hours of waiting normally required to render a single frame of animation. This rapid feedback loop allowed a small indie team to work at survival speeds, delivering the high-end visual polish audiences expect from a major television network. But the real magic happens in how they handle the models themselves. Lead animator Kevin Temmer relies heavily on a philosophy called cheating the camera, the practice of prioritizing the flat 2D viewing angle over actual realistic 3D spatial logic. One specific technique is forced perspective. Animators will manipulate a character like Kane, the ringmaster, by drastically scaling up his hand, forcing it to look closer and more dynamic to the camera lens. If you were to view that exact same 3D model from a side angle, the character would look completely distorted and physically broken. But as long as the primary camera angle looks good, the broken physics simply don't matter. Another trick is stealing parts. When the team needed to give Kane false eyelashes, they just detached the rigid expression lines from another character's digital rig, Pomni, and stretched them over his eyes to fit the shot. They also create 2D smear frames. By violently stretching the 3D character models for a single frame of video, they simulate the high-speed, blurry motion you typically only see in traditional hand-drawn cartoons. By treating rigid 3D space like a highly malleable 2D canvas, the animators achieved a level of exaggerated, expressive appeal that standard 3D animation struggles to capture. These animation techniques serve a purpose beyond saving time. They are woven directly into the show's narrative structure. The story follows a group of human consciousnesses trapped inside a glitching, unstable virtual reality simulation from which they cannot escape. The environment is governed by Kane, an erratic AI ringmaster who controls every facet of the world despite his inability to comprehend human reality. The physical stretching and distorting of these 3D models acts as a visual shorthand for the character's mental state. As the digital fabric of the circus world breaks, the minds of those trapped within it begin to unravel. On an industry level, Glitch Productions is pulling off a similar cheat. The traditional indie to network pipeline often involves selling out to massive streaming conglomerates, like we saw when the hit indie pilot Has Been Hotel left YouTube to be acquired by Amazon Prime. Glitch bypassed the Hollywood system entirely. By stubbornly maintaining their creative freedom, they kept their primary distribution right where it started, on YouTube. Leveraging an audience of hundreds of millions, they secured a licensing deal with Netflix. The streaming giant gets to host the episodes, but they hold absolutely zero creative control over the production itself. The Amazing Digital Circus proves that with a distinct creative vision and a willingness to break the technical rules, independent creators no longer need traditional Hollywood gatekeepers to build global empires. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the animation of the Amazing Digital Circus, let us know in the comments below, subscribe to the channel, and tell us which indie series we should break down next.